Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Zoey, it is really great talking to you today. I really enjoyed Not Okay. It just goes into so many things I've thought about recently with social media, influencers. So it was great. So, and congrats on your performance too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, how did you and your director, Quinn Shepard, kind of find a balance on not taking Danny too far, given that we are told that she's this unlikable protagonist?
Yeah, I think that is so much of Quinn is responsible for that. I definitely wanted. I don't know. I was hoping. I hope that I was grounding all of her actions in something motivated, so it didn't feel too big or too broad or too out there. But Quinn was managing that for sure.
It's so funny you say that because when I asked Quinn that question, she said it was all you. So I kind of love that director-actor response there.
That's really funny.
I'm curious, how do you manage your own relationship with social media, and what society or even industry may expect out of you?
Gosh, it's so interesting. It's such a divide. Like I have friends of mine that are only a couple years older than me that are so annoyed that they feel like they need social media for their work or for certain whatever, for if you have a brand deal or whatever, and you have to post on it. And it's so, in some ways, even fun for me because it's a part of my wiring of my brain. I was the generation that had it at 12, 13, 14. So like my most formative years were influenced by social media, part of the culture of my whole life. Whereas friends that are only 4 or 5 years older than me, they didn't have that in those years. And so they hate it. And I hate it too, to be clear, but it's a part of my life in such a weird way. I have only ever, as far as I remember, existed online. So, I mean, it's dark, but it's the truth. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine growing up I never had it as a teen. It was after college that social media was a thing. Can't imagine. Now, you worked with Dylan before in The Outfit, which was really good. Both you were great. What is he like as a scene partner? What do you enjoy most about working with him?
He really commits, and I love that about him. It's very fun to act with another actor who isn't afraid of going too far or too big, who has big ideas, and he does.
Danny is, I think, trying to find her identity. And I'm curious, is that something that you're thinking about with projects that you take on as kind of your identity as an actress?
It's not calculated, and it's not as 100% intentional. It's a feeling, right? Like after this movie, I felt like I needed something happy and light and joyful. And I did a beautiful holiday rom-com that I produced with Hello Sunshine's coming out. Well, I'll be able to tell you when it's coming out pretty soon. But so it was from a feeling. It wasn't from an intentional, like calculated thing. I needed something different in my life after playing Danny Sanders. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I love a good holiday rom-com, so I'm excited for that.
You're gonna love it. You are going to.
I hope that's the one with Glenn Powell because I love the movie you guys did together too. So great. So thank you so much. I appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Quinn, it is really great talking today. I really enjoyed Not Okay, as it just brings up so many thoughts I've had about influencers and social media over the last couple of years. So thank you for this.
Of course, it's nice to chat with you. And look at your collection of movies. You're clearly a movie lover.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is all real too. It's alphabetized. There's categories. It's a little out there.
Incredible. Truly.
Thank you. Now, I'm curious, how did you and Zoey kind of find a balance of not taking Danny too far, as we're told that she's this unlikable protagonist?
Well, it was interesting because I actually think Zoey pushed me in a great way, in a way that I wanted and felt very much like a partnership in to to push Danny as far as we could, because in a lot of ways, pulling punches with Danny felt like it was muddling whether or not the film was agreeing with her or sympathizing with her or not. And like really having her go there and oftentimes just, step over that line where you hear the collective groan in the audience was so important to showing where the film stood on her actions and that it was not endorsing them. So, right. But at the same time, I think Zoey and I were both very committed to bringing a humanity to Danny that would ensure that people could still relate to her, even if they also sometimes wanted to strangle her.
I mean, were you leery at all about telling us up front that she is, because that's in the text, that she is this unlikable protagonist? And oftentimes I hear audiences say, well, I didn't like that movie because I didn't like the lead character. Did you kind of struggle with that balance?
The warning is on the film, I think, largely because of that, and it's something it's come up so much more than I was expecting. The title card, because honestly, it was just a little nod to the fact that in our first round of test screenings, there were a lot of people who like literally couldn't conceive of why somebody had made a movie with this character at the center, and we're sort of like, are we supposed to like her? Why is she doing bad things? And it really put into perspective how familiar audiences are with male-driven satires and how unfamiliar they are with female-driven satires. And so that tiny inclusion of that completely changed the way the film tested and the reactions that we got. And people were able to just get it instantly. So it's fascinating that certain demographics kind of actually needed a content warning about.
No, I liked it. I liked it because you were daring to say that. And there's certainly a journey with her. I mean, did you study like specific influencers or like, to kind of get into that culture, that lifestyle, to understand what that psyche is? Because there's something in our brain about that world.
Yeah, I definitely spent way too much time on TikTok researching for this. It's all purely research. Right. And a lot of time on Instagram. I watched a lot of YouTube. I mean, everyone. I watched everyone who I thought Danny would be consuming. So everyone from Emma Chamberlain videos and micro-influencers, and looking at like Bella Hadid and Beverly Carlson and all of these girls who she would admire their outfits and the like Y2K stuff. And I just tried to immerse myself in internet trends as much as I could. Now I'm like trying to undo it because it's like coloring the way I see the world. Like I'm like seeing the trends everywhere. I have to root it out.
Right. That's hysterical. I got the wrap. It was great talking to you. I hope people get a lot out of this movie. It really is influential in a way. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.